I actually contemplated doing Christmas in Barovia and having you all bring back your old Strahd characters.
But they're all dead.
It would have been
Over this.
before that.
Fuck.
It would have been before that. But
Cat lived. It was a different campaign, but she still lived.
I decided this would be fun. I hope you all enjoy. And I wanted to say thank you all for so many fun games this year. I enjoy playing with you all so much.
This was a fantastic year. Thank you, Brian. This was
Wow.
Trent and I were talking about it, and it's just like you do so many things to make every character have their like shining moment and just get to feel cool. There's the OP things that we get that are just like ridiculous, and it's just fun.
Well, I'm glad you enjoy it.
It's fun.
I heard someone say, be a fan of the characters and be a fan of the players, and I really believe that. That being said, it's time to try some new characters on for size.
Yeah, but I'm progressing in my thing, but I wanted to let you know that hopefully before Christmas I will have a piece out for everybody as my thank you to all of you for the fun games and the inspiration. Also, I will point out that this is now the third piece that I'm doing with most of our characters in there, and now somebody's probably gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no!
I'm starting to see a correlation here.
Cart.
So,
Horse.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I might just have to stop drawing altogether. Maybe that will save us. I don't know.
No, it won't. Just think of them as memorial images.
Together forever.
We'll always be like this, won't we? Yeah.
Yeah. Next episode, somebody dies. God damn it.
Pictures don't age, and neither do Tirius.
It was the same for Oots, though. Like, that's 2 and 2.
I know.
And now I'm so scared. Because everybody's dying. And I'm just like, why am I working on this again? Oh, I love it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to showing it to all of you. Hopefully, I will finish it over the weekend. It's hard to
I
decide
can't
when
wait.
the thing is finished, but I just wanted to tease you with it because I can.
I can't wait. All right, so you are all in the village of Hensbrook for Midwinter Festival. In centuries past, the Midwinter Festival all over the kingdom of Varanus has been a somber affair of reflection and observation. At the peak of the harshest season, observers of Midwinter remember battles they fought, losses, travesties, all the lives lost to senseless wars, and the evils that brought it all about. It's only within a few far-flung settlements that this usually depressing holiday has become a time of seasonal celebration. And for this small village of Hensbrook, Midwinter's festive look has arrived. It's that time of year again, and the denizens of the villages of Hensbrook and the neighboring dwarf settlement of Stenheim, along with the nearby halfling tribe who have made their winter camp, all of them are on the final day of a week-long celebration called Reach. Long days of work, clearing snow from the roads between the settlements, and all too short nights of drinking have brought the road that connects all of them back into pristine and travelable condition. With the transitional tradition of Midling only a few hours away, the merrymaking bash of Midwinter Festival has almost arrived. But this year, efforts have met with unusual obstacles. Small stockpiles have been rummaged through, food has been stolen, some ale casks have been broken, festive clothes have been torn, and crucial pomelon fruits are missing. With schedules and deadlines rigid, any more bumps in the road might result in disaster. If the past month of ever-escalating theft and vandalism is any indication of what's to come, revelers may be in danger. Or worse yet, the winter pomelons.
That sounds bad.
I would like us to go around and introduce ourselves. I am your host for the evening, Santa.
Hi, Santa.
Santa.
I'm not sitting on your lap. I only fell for this 13 times.
The 14th time is the charm.
Fuck, he's got me.
I would like to say that I've been good this year, but that would be a lie.
Let's start at the top with Tosh. So each of you has come to this town to celebrate. Some of you might be from nearby settlements. Some might be locals. So let me know who you are, what brought you to town.
Okay. My name's Tosh, and I just love things. Some say too much. I go around, and if I'm not hugging, I'm arm wrestling to figure out the more passive ways of discerning a dispute. I like to illuminate situations since I am a cleric of the Church of the Silver Illumination. And if there's a way to find a bright side, well, Tosh is the man to do it. I'm also a gnome, so you'll have to, maybe look down a little bit. You may hear a voice coming at you, and you'll be like, "Where is it? Where is it?" Well, I'm just down here. So I've got bright. Some would say unorthodox. Others would just say unruly hair. One red eye and one green eye, and then I wear scale armor that has seen better days, but I'm not a man for polish and frou-frou. Just want to get things done and want to have fun along the way.
Excellent. We are going to skip John's character, Jacques, and move on to Saga.
Yes.
That's pronounced Jacques, by the way. I don't want to step on any toes.
Just Jack.
It's Jacques.
Jacques.
All those letters have to mean something.
Jacques is how it's pronounced.
Nah, I'm sure you're wrong.
Saga.
Trent?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Saga is a 16, maybe 14, somewhere around there. Very small, very slight young woman. She is rather pale, which is pretty, which isn't unusual for this area. She's not exactly from this town, but from a nearby village. She carries a large sword on her back, almost about the same size as her for her slight frame. Her clothes are very rustic and simple, enough there that she is kept warm, but especially at the joints, kind of looser so she can move freely. She has a very, very nice homespun, but clearly lovingly crafted scarf around her neck that is bright blue. She walks around with a big steaming drink between both of her hands to keep her warm, just taking a couple sips, just enjoying looking at the lights and walking carefully. She came because that she has heard that there have been somebody trying to ruin the cheer for the holiday.
Excellent. Mittens?
Hi, I'm Mittens. It's not my name. It's just what they call me. Mittens is, despite the picture, Mittens is an elf. I couldn't find a picture that I liked with the pointy ears, so you're gonna have to use what they call the imagination. Mittens is dressed in just brownish, grayish rags. There's a whole lot of brown going on. She kind of smells like the bottom of the barrel slept in the gutter. Her hair is a big mess, and she carries a stick. And she's never quite standing still. She's always a little shaky and unsteady. You can tell just by a glance that she's probably drunk. And yeah, she's been drowned drunk for 5 years now, and she's been told that she needed to get more ambitious. So she's aiming to become the kingdom drunk this year. So she's just wondering about and trying to work on that. And that's Mittens.
Tickle Belly.
Oh, hey there. Name's Beerhild. If you want to just grab a drink and you can saddle up on my table, I don't mind. I got lots of room here. Don't mind if the elf comes by and steals from your beverage, though. I'll pay for it. I do a lot of that, mostly just making sure everyone else can do the things they want to do. I guess I would describe myself as a furbolg, but I'm really not that hairy. Don't get the name confuse ya. I'm about 7 feet tall there, and I've got, I don't know, I take a gentle smile, you might agree. Other than that, I'm mostly just kind of keeping them myself and enjoying the festivities.
Fantastic.
That's great. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
So each of you for Christmas get inspiration.
We did it! Yay!
And new characters, because your old ones are dead.
It takes more than a half hour for me to kill off characters. Give me another half hour.
I think he means our characters from the Veiled Lands.
I don't know. They're not dead.
They're dying, but they're not dead.
Exactly. I've still got some Deus Ex Machina that I could do. So, back to this game. The atmosphere in the villages is very congenial. Everyone is helping everyone out, and even though they're long days of hard work, it's easy to make fast friends in this festive atmosphere. And the four of you, John is not here.
Damn it, John.
Yeah. The four of you have become pretty good friends over the last week and have decided to attend the big day of the festival together. You leave the town of Hensbrook to head towards the area that they refer to as Middling, which is the halfway point between the village of Hensbrook, the dwarven settlement of Stenheim, and the winter camp of the Halfling tribe. Middling has a small temple at it and a large clearing that has been, over the week, accumulating supplies and tents and various accoutrements for the festival. And that is where the majority of the activities are going to take place. You arrive in the early morning and find yourself standing outside of a makeshift fence surrounding the grounds of the temple. At the gate of this fence, you see a crowd gathering around a festively dressed man who's standing on a small stage. He looks like he's about to speak about the festival, detailing some of the history behind it, and specifically Hensbrook's take on it. Past him is the entrance to the festival grounds. What would you like to do?
You think they're gonna tell us where the drinks are at?
well, I mean, that and a few other things.
Maybe we should go and ask him. You know.
I'm game if you are.
I would also like to try some.
Cool. Mittens will just start swaying in the direction of this gathering and see what's happening there.
Okay. Being from the town, you would recognize the man. You know him as Owen. He's with the local detachment of Rhodesmen, who are a military organization with stations throughout the country, responsible for infrastructure and keep taking care of local bandits, things like that. And having been here, you know that for the last few years, he has been put in charge of the festival. So you aren't surprised when you see him on the stage. He sort of is grumbling to himself, and he wipes at his shoulders. You see just this irritable scowl on his face, and he when he's wiping on his shoulder, you see he's got snow collecting on him, and he just brushes it off into the air, and it vanishes. He clears his throat, and he says, "All right, folks, how's it going? Listen up. I'm not going to say this again. Welcome to Midling and the Midwinter Festival. Now I'm going to read off a bit of information about today's festivities. As you may or may not know, today is the final day of Reach. At sundown, we will transition to the climactic Midling blowout. And finally, we'll get into the Midwinter Festival celebration after sundown. My name is Owen Azamar. I'm Lieutenant of the Rhodesmen, but today I am Captain of the Snowmen." And you see he's wearing a blue cloak with a, snowflake pin. And the snowmen, you would know, so make a history check.
Oh. Despite being drunk, Mittens knows about history sometimes when she can bother to remember. Yeah, it's not bad.
I forgot
No.
to mention Tasha's from the town too. Can he roll for? Wow.
Yeah. Both of you...
Not fat.
Yeah. Both of you know that the Snowmen are an organization that essentially is in charge of the whole road clearing and festival. They are made up mostly of the most junior members of the Rhodesmen. And people who are volunteered by the town. Often... Yeah. And you, Mittens, have been voluntold the last few years, but somehow this year you made sure not to be around.
Maybe they just decided to purposely not include me. I may have fucked up once or 3 times. Who knows?
And the snowmen generally during the festival will act as people who can answer questions or make sure that people keep moving out of the streets or the little roads that develop in between the market stalls and the games. Yeah, that's the Rhodesmen. I mean the snowmen.
They're the police, is what you're telling me.
They're more like proctors. They just make sure the festival runs smoothly. And with an 11, you would know that Owen, although he seems very gruff and like he doesn't like this may be his favorite part of the year and his favorite job that he has.
It's being a snowman.
Mm-hmm.
Owen.
Well, Owen, is there anything that you need done? I know I've helped your men before with scrapes and bruises.
He climbs down from the stage after people start milling in, and he looks at you and he says, "The only thing I need you to do is go inside and have fun."
Well, that is something I can do. Rubbing my hands together.
He
In order
says,
to do that.
he says, "Yeah, the drinks, they're over there. Some of the games involve drinking." And he gives you a piece of paper he's got a stack of that list the different games. And you know that each community sort of sponsors their own little set of games, and there's a mini competition to see whose games are the most popular each year.
I grab the paper.
You grab the paper.
And I hand it to Tickle Belly because he can read better than I can. Look, these are the drinks.
Sir, are you certain you have everything under control?
He looks at you and he says, "Oh yeah, we got it all under control. Yeah, you go and have a good time."
Well, what about the thefts?
Don't worry about that. Just have fun at the festival. There's plenty to eat and drink and games to play, and go enjoy yourself.
I'd like to look over the list and see if I can find some delectable beverages and/or games.
So you should have a handout now that shows you all the games.
It's called Festival Games.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I think
Look
our
at
mittens would be good at Punch Drunk.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much got your name all over it.
Maybe that should be my name. Maybe we could switch Mittens to that.
But mittens is so cute.
I'm not cute. You're cute. Get out of there, kid.
Like a pair of mittens. Sort of rough and scraggly and made of wool on the outside, but they keep you warm all winter.
I think Punch Drunk sounds like a fantastic plan.
Let's go, do me.
So you enter the festival grounds, and it is crowded. There are people walking. They're wearing brightly colored clothes. There are booths. There are decorated trees. There are market stalls. Every path, every intersection, there's a polished brass post with enormous candles sitting on them that are lit, and they're dripping hot red wax onto the vines that are wrapped around these posts. You hear music through the air, live bards who have come to town just for the festival, playing, taking turns. As you enter and come to the first little crossroads, you see a sign that looks like it's a wooden post, and it's got arrows pointing in all different directions. And written in glittering gold calligraphy, you see the signs read, "To Hensbrook," and "To Stenheim," and "Token Exchange," and "Prize Box." And one arrow points straight down at the ground, and it says, "You are here."
Looks like we go to Stenheim.
So you...
And we need to be there.
Oh. Yeah. Sure.
You follow the sign that points to Stenheim, and you see the stalls and the various fenced-in little pens and whatnot are now primarily seem to be run by dwarves. each one calling out to you, trying to get your attention. But you make your way towards the brightly labeled Punch Drunk. And you find that it's just two, like, picnic tables. And there's a dwarf out front, and he sees you and heading over, and he's been there for a few years, running this same event, so he knows that Mittens is going to show up. And he says, "Would you like your usual seat?"
I always forget that I do this every year because I get too drunk. Yeah, sure. I'm here to do me. Where do I sit?
He says, "Well, first you got to give me your ticket." Oh, yeah, no, that's fine. And he points at a booth that's not very far away, and he says, "Tickets are $1 apiece. They work for
Got to note down my money. Got to...
each. You have 10 gold." He says, "Each ticket is good for one game. So, come back with a ticket. I'll keep your seat ready for you."
Sure.
I'll go buy a ticket as well.
Okay.
Make
When you
5 tickets.
Yeah, I think that we should
Yeah.
buy more than one ticket each. 'Cause there's a lot of games, and
That's true.
we can participate to more than one game too. There's a bear wrestling thing.
Yeah, I'm a little bit interested in seeing what sort of event that is going to be.
make a history check.
You
Mysterious.
there.
Ticklebelly, make a history check because this one relates to you. The rest of you, as you get to the ticket tent, inside there's a sign above the tent that says tickets and token exchange. And when you go inside, it's full of people. It is loud. It is hot. You hear the clink of metal coins. People are laughing and talking. There is a line there are 3 or 4 different lines, and each one ends at a teller who's wearing a colorful vest and a silly hat. And you get in line, and it moves very quickly, just a few moments. You get to the front, and the teller looks at you and says, "Merry Midwinter Festival to you. How can I help you?"
5 tickets for each of us, please.
And he says, "That's half a gold apiece. 4 of you, 2 gold." And you hand over the gold. The teller hands you the tickets and explains that if you win a game, you'll be given a token, and you can go to the token exchange to trade it in for prizes and fun. But there's a limited number of tokens for each game. Ticklebelly, you don't know exactly what the bear wrestling competition is, but you have a friend within the local halfling community, the People of the Wind. He's an elderly halfling. For you being several hundred years old, you're not exactly sure how old he is, but he's old for a halfling. His name is... Notes.
Steve.
His name is not Steve.
Old Steve.
Old Steve,
Tiny
exactly.
Steve.
His name is Spirit Speaker Naranos, and he is one of the elders of the People of the Wind.
Oh, I can see why he goes by Steve.
And you know that the bear wrestling is his favorite. But you don't know why. You can't really remember why. He's old and he tends to drift when he talks. And it's hard to follow. But you know that he was especially excited this year about it because he thinks it's probably his last Midwinter Festival and his last chance for the bear wrestling.
Well, don't worry, Tickles. We'll do me first, and then we'll do you. It's all gonna work out.
You head back. Oh, sorry.
No, just completely oblivious to the innuendo.
You head back to the punch drunk tables. And the dwarf who was there says, "Good, you've found your tickets. Now, one ticket, one seat. Sit across from somebody. It could be a friend, it could be a stranger. Here are the rules. You take a drink and you punch them in the face.
The drink
First-
or the people?
You take a drink. After you drink, you punch the person in the face across the table from you.
I would like to be as far away from Mittens for this event as possible.
Well, Mittens and I go kind of back. I'll sit across from you, Mittens. I think this will be a fantastic time.
Don't come crying if I break your nose, man.
I
Yeah,
can
he
fix
is.
my nose. I'm pretty good at that.
Okay, cool. Then you can sit right there.
Um,
Kind of tiny
You
though.
are
I
an
feel like it's
awfully
not
large
safe.
man.
he continues to explain. He says, they are going to wait for the tables to fill up, and then the last person standing or sitting and drinking wins. So,
So we
This
will all
Mittens
touch
game.
each other at one point or another.
I'm sorry for all your broken nose. Maybe you want to sit outside and wait. No,
So
if
you
you
sit-
don't want, that's cool too.
so you sit, Mittens, and Tosh sits across from you. There's some dwarves, humans, and halflings at the tables, and you think they'll fill up pretty soon. The rest of you going to play?
Yeah, I'll go sit kind of like off to the side, not directly in front of everybody, and wait to see who sits across from me intentionally.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just sit down and wait for somebody to target me as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So you all sit, and
Nobody wants to punch the 16-year-old.
yeah, exactly. I'm seeing who's like looking for me as an easy target.
and in fact, a dwarf comes up to you and sits and looks at you. He's got mismatched eyes. He's got a mohawk. The side of his head is tattooed with like a lightning bolt. He's got this ratty beard that's somewhat braided.
Tribal tattoo around his bicep.
And he looks at you and he says, "I won't take it easy on you."
I do not ask that you do.
Good girl. The rest of you get various people sitting with you as well. The way this is going to work, let us pull up some initiatives.
Bum, 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 bum.
Initiatives.
And this is just the order we're going to go in for this game.
Mittens was born ready for this game.
Where's my...
I was fastest on initiative in real life, but slowest at the table.
Such is life.
That's about right. That's a -1 to initiative.
Well, clerics bring up the rear, or almost.
Yeah.
Okay. So the way this is going to work, I want each of you first to, as you take a drink, you're going to make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
Then you'll make an unarmed attack roll. I think for all of you but one, this is not proficient, just a straight strength check.
Okay. I mean, if we're proficient with simple weapons, we should be proficient with unarmed attacks, right?
Yes, sorry. I keep forgetting about that.
It's
errata.
kind of ratted. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Right?
yeah, everybody does.
Oh.
I think everything besides wizards would be able to do it.
Jake.
So,
Oh, wizards.
Mittens first. Make a
Alright. Con save.
I down the drink. Ugh.
Nice.
So the
And
way,
then- oh yes.
sorry, the way that drunkenness works is you start with a DC 10, and your DC goes up by 1 per drink.
Any special features for being a professional drunk, sir?
Yes, yours goes up by 1 per drink. Everyone else's goes up by 2 per drink, unless they're a dwarf.
Cool.
Ooh.
I down my drink, and then I use the same hand that still has the glass. Just punch Tosh in the face with it.
Okay. 23 hits, Tosh. You take 6 bludgeoning damage.
You challenged a drunk monk to drinking and boxing, man.
Yep.
We're only 3rd level, right?
Only 3rd.
Okay.
So, next up is Saga.
Saga will roll con. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and use a lucky point to reroll that because I don't want to be out of the game this early.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Move that down to 2. And reroll. That's better.
Excellent.
So, yeah, cough it up a little bit. And then drink it back down. Excuse me. And then I punch the dwarf across from me right in the chest. Right in the heart. Well, I don't have it already prepared, so...
Just roll a strength check. Yeah, and athletics is fine. 19. You punch
3
him.
points of damage.
Punch him square in the chest.
4 points, sorry.
You punch him square in the chest. He almost surprised look on his face, looks at you, and then he lets out an enormous belch.
Excuse me.
He will down his drink, making a con save. And then he will hit you.
I mean, that doesn't hit. Well, no, it does hit. Never mind.
Okay. And that is 5 points
Alright.
of damage.
Ow.
Next up is Tosh.
All right. Am I able to cast guidance on myself?
So, you would know that not many people actually have magic. If you want to use magic as part of this, you can, but you should probably hide it, as if a snowman sees you, he might kick you out of the festival for cheating.
Okay. I'm gonna try to do that.
Okay, first roll stealth.
Well, I've got that in the bag with a -1. Oh no!
Tosh.
That's magic.
This is exactly how this should have gone.
So,
The Christmas movie has begun.
as you start to cast the spell and reach out to touch yourself, you feel a hand clamp down on your wrist, and you see a blue-cloaked figure who's wearing a silly blue jester hat and these horrible boots with these curled toes with bells on them, and he looks super uncomfortable. And he says, "I'm sorry, sir. You're going to have to forfeit. And if you do this again, you will be asked to leave."
Well, you wouldn't kick out a holy man.
Today, for cheating, I would.
Yeah, you would. I think you better go. Holy man. I win!
Tosh walks away sadly.
I will take Tasha's drink and drink that one too. Because I need more drinks. And you left it there.
The let's see. Next up, we have Bearhild.
Oh man.
And sitting across from you is a small human woman. I don't have pictures for everybody. I just like that dwarf. A small human woman, and she looks up at your very tall form. And there are not many Firbolg. Wherever you go, people are looking at you with a mix of awe and trepidation. So when you sit there, she comes up and she sits across from you, but she's nervous. And you see a group of other young women sort of standing off to the side, all giggling. And you get the feeling that she was dared to do this. So,
Seeing that, and knowing this history, I'm going to down my drink and then try to like comically miss her.
okay, you can choose to miss. Make a performance check to see how obvious it is.
Let's do my drinky drink first,
Cool.
and then performance. Not really my. I it's slow and sluggish, and it looks drunk. I've been studying Mittens for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to try to get the 4 a.m. Mittens stagger.
Yeah. No, nobody seems to disbelieve you. And she, the young woman, smiles and she looks over at her friends and then she downs her drink. And then she will attempt to punch you. That should be a 15.
My AC is 9.
Okay. And you take 1 point of damage.
I will.
Oh man. That's for sure. I think that it's not really my drink. Oh yeah, that's all swollen. I think I'm gonna bow out here. You're oof. Oh man, why are there so many people at this table?
And there's like only 2 of us.
Mm-hmm. She says, "Thank you for playing with me."
Oh,
And she,
oh. Hey, thank you for not, sending me to the grave. That would have been awkward.
yes,
But
oh,
I'm glad you let me live. That's, oof, yeah. Oh,
I walk into something.
she looks at her friends and they're cheering for her. The dwarf who's in charge comes over and starts rearranging people due to the absences. There, for the most part, are about half the people have gone. So there are only 3 of you and, 2 of you and your challengers left.
All right.
So the dwarf who had been sitting across from Saga has been reassigned to Mittens. Mittens, you've been assigned this young woman.
Oh, I'm assigned a woman?
No, sorry. Mittens, dwarf, Saga, young woman.
Okay. I feel like it's more of a fair fight, you know. 'cause-
Ah,
You can't say that you were assigned a young woman. It's like
Mm.
good
Alright.
evening.
Bunk, you think you can hold a drink?
Oh, I can hold my drink. I've been holding them since before your grandmother could.
I really doubt that, little boy. But we're gonna see.
Okay.
I down my drink.
Mm-hmm.
Slam it on the table first, and then down. Go!
Excellent.
And I'm gonna
You-
punch him on the nose. 13 is not great.
13, you punch him, and rather than hitting him on the nose, you misjudge and literally punch the air just beside his ear. And you almost make a thunder crack sound with your punch, though. And he turns and looks to where your fist was, and then back at you, and he says, "Aye, that's good."
I was giving you a chance. I don't want to hit on little boys.
He makes his con save, and then takes a swing at you.
Yet I'll hit.
Okay, that's 5 points.
I really wish I'd hit.
He laughs. And Saga, the young woman, sits across from you, and seeing like your accoutrements, your sword and everything, she looks nervous.
This is really bad tasting, nah. It's like medicine.
It's alcohol. It all tastes bad.
Ugh. And I will carefully drink mine down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you, when you drink it down, you can't remember if she punched you or if your head hit the table. But something happened, and a few moments later, you find yourself in out of the little area with a couple of people like applying cold wet cloths to your forehead.
Whoa. Why does my head spin?
Oh, you should have seen it. There were 3 late contestants, and you had to take them all on. You got really close there towards the end.
Oh, but it is nice.
You did great.
What happened to you?
I did so good. No, they kicked me out. I tried to guide myself to victory.
Ah. One should never cheat.
I mean, using your own abilities isn't necessarily cheating.
We all play by the rules.
Mittens, you see the dwarf who's in charge come over with the young woman. She looks at you and the dwarf who's sitting across from you, and she says, "I'm out. I'm done. No."
Oh, man, you got lucky there. She could have killed you if she wanted to. Good restraint there.
So it leaves just you and the dwarf. And he says, "My honor this time." And he takes a drink first.
Sure, whatever you need, man.
And exactly
Get a little
makes
green, though.
his save.
Are you sure you're okay?
And he goes, whoop, whoop, and then he swings at you. 13?
I will lean back in my drunken sway, and you will miss.
He misses, and when his fist comes around through the thin air, he brings it up to his face and he looks at it and he says, "Motherfucker, that's the last time you'll let me down."
You know, if you want to join a little girl and just quit, I won't judge you. Everybody else will, but I won't.
He says, "I'm no quitter."
I'm just here for the drinks, and I'll down my drink. And then I'll clock him on the nose. God damn it, I wanna... Can I use one of my key points? Or use a bonus action to punch him again? With my other hand?
So you only get one punch
Okay.
for the game by the rules.
I'm not gonna cheat. I saw what happened to Tosh.
You do have inspiration.
Sure. I want to win at this game. I'm not gonna be kingdom drunk if I lose at these kind of games. I'm gonna use my inspiration.
Mhm.
Yeah. Why not?
14 is the magic number. As he's swearing at his own fist, you punch his fist, which punches him in the nose. He barrels over backwards.
Oh,
And-
man, don't hit yourself, buddy.
And the dwarf in charge says, disqualified for leaving his chair. The dwarf stands up, the one you were competing against. He says, "That was good. Maybe I'll see you at the song fight." And he sort of sways off himself.
I look on the table. Are there any untouched or just like sips left in the drinks?
A few. You can manage to pour yourself.
Yeah, I'm just gonna combine them all into one drink because like I had 3 drinks. This is not what I came here for. I'm gonna grab the leftovers, get my ticket.
The dwarf who was organizing the whole thing comes over and he says, "That was really good. You can really hold your liquor and give out a pounding." And he hands you a small golden, it's not real gold, but a small golden coin. It says, "There's your token. Good luck to you."
Thank you.
If you're
Remember
looking...
this. When people ask you who should be kingdom drunk, you tell them Mittens is the best. I'll pat him on the head and I'll leave.
As you're leaving, he says, "If you're looking for more drinks, both the dragon... what is it called?"
There's a few dragon-themed games.
Yeah, he says, "Song fight, and we can do dragon stuff too. Both have lots of drinking."
I will give him thumbs up, but my sleeves are like longer than my hands, so it's really just like floopy sleeves and just little bumps in them.
And he just sort of nods, confused at you.
Visual is too good.
And I will walk away with my drink. So I did it. We did me. It was pretty good. I liked it. And I'll tap on Tickle's back. Now it's time to do you, man. Lead the way.
Oh man, there's so many festivities here. We could really just make a whole day of it, like maybe every year or something.
You know what? That's not a bad idea.
Does anybody else have it? Like, what's that smell? Sounds interesting. Song fight. Sounds interesting.
Apparently there's more drinking. But
'Cause
you don't want to do the bear wrestling?
Yeah, I do, but we don't have to do that now.
Storm the dragon's lair.
So the games are sectioned off by their.
Location, probably?
By the community that is sponsoring them,
So how far apart are the various communities?
it's just a minute walk.
Okay.
It's a fairgrounds, essentially, and you can get from one to another pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I guess nobody else has anything else they want to do immediately. We could do the bear wrestling.
Yes.
Okay.
That's such
You-
a sad. Yes.
Yes.
You
Wanna
walk-
see a bear wrestle.
You walk out of the Stenheim area. You see, as you do, you see another set of tables with people blindfolded, their things being shoved under their noses. You see dwarves who are taking a drink and then spitting it out over a torch, trying to light targets on fire. When you get to the People of the Wind, the halfling area, you see, as you first enter, it looks like a rope hung between 2 trestle tables. The rope is icy. It is slick with ice, and people are trying to cross the rope. You also see what looks like a low ruined stone wall, and people are painting it with different colored pigment, painting like pictures on it and stuff. And you do see some people that are juggling. It looks like juggling fire and icicles. But when you get to the center of the area, you see a huge crowd looking at a fenced-off area. And inside is a little old halfling. And he is haranguing the crowd. He's saying... He's saying, "None of you will take me. Huh? Is that it? None of you wants to bear wrestle?" And he is bare-chested. He goes, "This is my last festival. one of you motherfuckers better come wrestle me.
I think he's also drunk.
Yeah, why not? Hey, how's it going? How's the festival?
Ticklebelly, my old friend. It's been
yeah.
it's been too long. Do you want to wrestle?
Yeah, I mean, I'm all stoked up for it. I've already been injured one time today. What's another little scuffle gonna do to me? Eh?
Okay. I knew you'd be game. He says, all you have to do to get the token is pin me for 3 rounds. 3 rounds.
Yeah, sorry, I got that.
Good. I would like you to first roll a d10. As the old man turns into a giant grizzly bear.
Is it a tiny bear?
Oh no, it is a full-sized grizzly.
Oh. Well, that is exciting.
Well, I mean, it did mention bear wrestling. I kind of expected that. I'm gonna be honest.
I did not take it so literally.
And the bear starts pacing around you. It lets out a growl.
Well, this wasn't really in the brochure there, was it?
So, this is going to be consecutive grapple attempts against the bear. It is
Okay.
very straightforward. If you get 3 consecutive grapple attempts, then you will win.
You wrestled the bear.
Oh, I'm still feeling a little woozy. Sneak attack.
I try to grapple the bear.
Okay. The bear makes exactly what he... Oh, sorry. No, that's the same roll. He makes exactly what he needs to get away.
Your neck is just so thick I can't get my arms around. Sneak attack.
Well, first, before you do, as you are attempting to grab him around the neck, he does give you one of these.
That's a little bit rude.
And then I'll let you roll again since you didn't know what was coming.
Feature forward favors the sneak attack.
And as you go forward and attempt to wrap your arms around the giant bear, you grab on. He turns and he tries to bite at you, but he can't. He reaches back with a claw at disadvantage.
That'll hit.
Your AC is terrible.
It is not great.
Okay.
So, can I got him around the neck.
Mm-hmm.
I want to, try to position myself like I'm riding him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Go for it.
I want to turn into a bear.
Excellent. So that is make an athletics check first. Okay. He will likewise. He manages to squirm out from under you just as you turn into a bear and boom, drop down beside him. Describe your bear form.
So my bear form is a slightly off-hued blue, much like my skin tone.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got this mane of hair that looks a lot like the mullet that I have in real life.
Excellent.
So real fake life.
So he manages to get away from you, but does not take an attack at you as you transform into a bear.
Try again. Where's I use the bear stat now? I don't know.
Use the bear stats now.
It's 3 better.
Do it, do it. Mittens will roam the crowd and look for unattended drinks as the fight is going on.
Make an investigation check, Mittens.
Cool. I'm still focused. I'm cheering on you as hard as I can between drinks. Yeah!
That was. People seem to be closely guarding their drinks. You're only able to put together maybe a half a drink.
You
So
basically
far.
take it out of Saga's hands when she's not paying attention. She like starts clapping and then kind of like starts looking down her hands and it's already back in there.
No, but this is like a whole adventure. Like, she's got like a 6-foot straw so that she could rappel down and take a sip from somebody's drink.
But she does, and with Saga's straw literally right next to her, just sipping like she owns the drink. It's just like not subtle whatsoever. Just like, yeah, what's up?
If you needed
Too
more
bad.
drink, please just take it.
I know. I just did. And I'll look confused at my drink.
Meanwhile, 2 bears are circling each other.
Now this is bear wrestling.
It is.
Make one more strength check. You have failed 2. If you fail this one, you will lose.
Oh man. I mean,
Come on, dices.
Oh no! I'll reroll it.
Okay.
Been there, done
Oh
that.
no!
As the grizzly, as you lunge in for the grizzly, the old man in grizzly form, just through years of experience, actually ducks beneath your lunge and then stands up quickly, flipping you over on your back. Before you can right yourself, he's turned back into his old halfling form, and he goes, "Oh, that was the most fun I've had in... Where am I?" And you see a gaggle of younger halflings come over and take him by the hand and start leading him. A couple of them come over and thank you and for entertaining the elder.
Bravo.
You did it! Yay!
that guy's pretty spry for a bear. Fights like a bear half his age.
I'm sorry you didn't get to win, Tickles. You need to drink it off or something.
No, I'm just here for that camaraderie and spirit to spirit.
Are you gonna take care of that? Cause you're kind of bleeding all over the place. And
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
starting to worry.
Yeah, I think while you guys are doing the next thing, I'm gonna just go out and dig a little hole in the snow and wait for spring. I'll be
As-
there by then.
As you're talking, and Mittens is still looking around for other drinks she can snaffle, you hear a little bit of a commotion down one of these alleyways between tents and stalls, and you hear Owen, the leader of the snowmen, saying, "Move along now. Move on. Everybody just nothing to see. Just move along."
What's happening? Snowing? Not even a chuckle? I thought it was good.
He
I didn't hear. I was typing.
he looks at you and he says, "You say that every year."
Yeah. Do I? Really? What's up?
He says, someone else is like, what's happened? Is someone hurt? And he's like, no, they're just for the love of... Listen up. All right, I'm only going to say this once. There's nothing here worth your concern. End of story. Disperse. You will be removed from the festival grounds. And everyone who had sort of gathered around him, including all of you, is just standing there still looking at him. He's like, and he yells, now!
Yeah, it seems legit. Maybe we should go to like the song thing or the smell or like dragons. I've never seen a dragon before.
Could we maybe storm the dragon's lair? I've always wanted to do it since I was a kid, but no one's ever taken me to one, and I'm also terrified of dragons, so... Seems like a good way to confront one's fears.
It does. I mean, Snowin said there was nothing happening, so I think that we should just go.
Can I perhaps listen into the crowd for a moment and see what the crowd thinks is happening?
Yeah, make a perception check.
It's a good night.
Remember, you're only third level. You're only third level. So you hear people talking about the recent vandalism and thefts, and you get that this is perhaps another incident of that, but that Owen is trying to get everyone to move along and have fun while you see a couple of other snowmen come over to him, and he starts giving them directions. But you can't quite get any specifics.
Yeah, I'll follow the group to the next event and see if I can rest my my husk.
Tired.
Each event you don't participate in, you can count as a short rest.
That is convenient.
Mr. Snowman, I would like to help.
He looks at you and he says, We've got this covered. You can make a persuasion roll. Nice. He stops for a minute and he says, It's just... And he points down this little alley, and you see some crates that have obviously been broken open. There's nothing inside. You see some little... He points out some marks on the ground that look almost like soot. Maybe like tiny fires that had been there but were snuffed out. And you can kind of smell the remnants of almost like a campfire. And he says, we haven't found any tracks or anything around here. And they're stealing food.
Oh no.
I mean, there's food. Everybody can just have food.
Not everybody. And it is not just poor people coming in for the festival.
So you would know that the food at the festival is free. It's only the games that cost money.
Interesting.
As each community has spent the harvest season setting aside food for the festival because they know that this is a big communal thing, and each one wants to provide as much as they can. So generally everyone gets to eat and drink for free. Not drink alcohol, but...
Mr. Bearhild, I think you can have a very powerful nose. Maybe you can sniff for tracks?
I could try.
But what
Okay.
about the dragons?
Well, this is more important, helping the townspeople figure out who's stealing. I mean, that's important.
We cannot let some ne'er-do-wells ruin the festival.
I'm sure there'll be a dragon next year.
Okay. So you transform into a bloodhound.
Ooh, that's what I was going to say.
And make a perception check and also a nature check.
I don't know what their stats are.
So it's actually it's your stats, but you get advantage on the perception.
The cops are here.
That's me.
They
ac-
found you, Brian.
It's actually the fire department.
Not really a naturey kind of guy.
Okay.
It's not bad.
Yeah. Would you like to give me another d20 just to see if you get higher than 16 for your perception?
Oh,
Because as a bloodhound, you would get advantage on smelling. Both of the attempting to detect aromas and also the dog's stink. Variety of smelling. 21, though, is excellent. You also smell that burning smell at these little patches of soot, but it doesn't smell to you like burning wood. It smells more like charcoal or coal. It's less... It's not green wood that was burned here, but it doesn't smell entirely unnatural, like, say, a magical fire. However, the trail does go cold very quickly.
If we have a basic trail, can we try to follow it or there's zero tracks and it was just a smell trail, or is there
Yep,
something?
there's 0 tracks. And
Okay.
But one thing you do get is you're able to determine what was in the crates with that 21. It was winter pomelons, which are a kind of fruit local to the area.
I'll come out a bear and tell them, or come out a bloodhound and tell them what I found.
What is it with those palms? What the fuck? They're not that great. I don't know why everybody's just working themselves up over it.
Well, they have a strong smell, so they're good for smuggling cocaine in.
Those of you who are native to the area would know that pomelons are an odd fruit in that they become ripe in the winter. And you can eat fresh pomelons and they provide almost a warming effect. Not a false warming effect like alcohol, but someone with several pomelons might be able to survive more extremes of cold, but they're also just nice to eat on a cold day. And they've got a strange property in that you found, the locals have found that if they bury these pomelons in the snow, the formerly orange fruit turns blue, and when you eat it, it's got almost the opposite, a cooling effect to it. The dwarves are known to make quite excellent liquors out of these fruits.
I guess we have to save them for the liquor. Sounds like a job for Mittens.
Yes, it is one of the only drinks I have enjoyed. What do you think I have been drinking all day?
I don't know. It tastes nice though. Do you have any more?
Not if we don't stop this thief.
Are you talking like in the future, or are you talking like right now?
Right now. I would need to go get more.
Owen, listening to all of you, seeing you transform, he says, the pomelons have been the thing going missing the most often. They do a lot, whoever they are when they're stealing, they do a lot of damage. Look, it doesn't matter. Just go have fun. We're on this.
Keep up the good work, Snowin. And I pat him on the cheek.
Alright, so you can keep
Yeah.
an eye out.
You too, galoshes.
Dragons, Dragon's Lair, some.
Let us go take care of dragons.
So there are quite a few different dragon events.
I think he wanted to storm the dragon's lair. Just make sure.
Excellent.
I do love a good storming.
So you head over to the Hensbrook area. People who see Mittens coming, you see a few roll their eyes, a few vendors of alcohol approach just to make sure you've got everything you need.
I will take any drink that they will offer me.
Well,
I need
they
to have
offer
the
you
drink
for
in my
money.
hand. How much do they charge for it?
Each one is a silver.
Well, I will make sure that I have at least one drink in both hands.
Excellent. And you see an archery event. It looks like another is some kind of pig pen. But when you when you see the sign for Storm the Dragon's Lair, it is at the edge of the fairgrounds on a little frozen pond. And when you approach, the man who's in charge of it says, "Oh, welcome, welcome. Are you going to storm the dragon's lair?"
Well, we're gonna try.
All you got to do is make it from this side of the pond to that side of the pond. And you see on the other side of the pond is a little like snow fort that's been made. And you see a couple little heads pop up looking over. And he goes, "Not yet, kids, not yet, not yet. Wait till they get out on the water." He says,
It's like a group thing or a
He says, "No, if you can make it across without falling down, you win. But I warn you, my kids, they got good aim with them snowballs."
I'm good with avoiding the snowballs, so I think we're gonna have a good time.
This will be fun.
All
I
right.
still have two drinks, one drink in both hands, and I'm just standing on the ice like I'm doing this.
So, who would like to go first? We'll go with Mittens first. The way this is going to work
I was kind
is
of hoping that my being there would draw fire from Tosh. So,
they send you
try.
across one at a time in case the ice is too thin. The man tells you, "We're pretty sure it'll hold everybody, but it's better to go one at a time. Better safe than sorry."
I love
Sorry. Sorry, Tosh. I mean, you're small, so you're probably gonna be okay. If not, I'll give you my token. It's all good.
So if you fall, you are disqualified?
Yeah. The ice is really slick, and my kids, they're dead aims with them snowballs. Although, my youngest son likes to put a rock in one every now and then, so you better be careful.
I did not pick the right event. It's a -1 to dexterity.
The way this is going to work, and there, by the way, there are non-dexterity and constitution events here. I tried to get a good.
I had to find them.
I tried to get a good range. So,
I should have really done that one better.
the way this is going to work is there are three children. Each one will throw a snowball at you. Each snowball sets the DC for your acrobatics check as you cross the ice. So who would like to go first?
Mittens can go. And she just
Okay.
initially she volunteered because she didn't want Tosh to fall. But seeing how Eve will probably fall, she's gonna go and get him a token.
All right.
Doesn't
So
feel too bad.
you start out across the ice, and it is slick. It seems like maybe the guy who's running this, you notice as you get out on the ice, he's got a pail of water beside him that he seems to pour out on the ice every so often to make sure it's good and slick. And as you step out onto the ice, a snowball comes whizzing by you.
It misses.
It is
I
not
mean,
your
the
AC.
world is... Oh, sorry.
It's not your AC. What I'm doing is I'm rolling, and that sets a DC.
Oh no!
Now you make an acrobatics check. Now it's 14 or better.
Oh, bravo.
I mean, the world is always swaying for Mittens, so it doesn't matter what the ground is like and what's being thrown at her. It's just all the same.
Your feet start to go out from under you for a second. You sway disconcertingly to one side, and the snowball goes wide. But just as you're reaching the midpoint of the pond, another one comes flying at you. Missing completely as you do almost a pirouette to look around at Tosh and ask him what he thinks. And you continue the rest of the way almost backwards, not realizing as you're stumbling. One more snowball coming at you.
Oh, damn. Come on, baby.
And it hits you. Okay.
I mean, I also can deflect missiles. I don't know if that would help me in this specific situation, but I will mention.
Lower the DC.
You lower the DC by 7.
And meet the
makes it.
DC exactly.
And meet the DC exactly. So you are backwards when you hear this snowball coming. You spin around, again, almost losing your balance. But as you're approaching the far side, the ice is less slick. And the snowball comes straight at your face, and you hold up a hand in between your face and the snowball. And the snowball hits it. You catch, and you feel a sharp pierce in the palm of your hand. And look, and you're holding a mass of snow and rock. But you make to the other side.
You're lucky I finished that drink, kid.
And 3 little children, 2 girls and 1 boy, come over to you, and they hand you a little gold token.
Oh man. Okay.
Token. You can do it, Tosh.
Tosh could. There's not even an ability for him to get a 21. All right.
Okay, so are you going, Tosh?
Oh yes. Oh,
Excellent.
totally.
So you step out on the ice,
Oh, it's cold.
and you hear the ice creak beneath you, but it doesn't break. And a snowball comes whizzing at you.
Oh, that was super good. That was the best. That was nearly the best.
As you're distracted by the creaking ice, afraid that it's going to break underneath you, you are hit in the middle of the face with a snowball, luckily no rocks. And it lifts you off the ground, or your feet go out from under you, one or the other, on the slick ice. You're not sure which, but all of a sudden you find yourself flat on your back. The man coming over to you and saying, "That's my little girl, Millie. She's got an arm."
She's quite a dragon. Oh man.
And you-
right in the jaw.
You hear a little girl from across the pond go, "Roar, I'm a dragon."
You did it, Melly.
All right, I would like to try as well.
Okay, you hand over your ticket and step out onto the ice.
Saga's gonna do something different. Saga's gonna get a running start from the back and try to slide on her knees as far as possible, and
Sure.
then just let the children hit her.
Okay. So I will give you advantage on your first. Disadvantage on your second as you're sliding and less able to maneuver.
Okay.
Advantage on the first because you're moving so quickly and this is surprise. And then straight roll on the last.
All right.
So as you run out onto the ice and start sliding, you're well past the point where the first snowball usually hits, and you realize the children weren't expecting you to come so quickly, but it does.
All right.
Oh,
Hey!
Wow.
However, you go to your knees to slide across the ice just as the snowball flies where your head had been. And now you're sliding. The next snowball zeroing in on you is a 13.
Got that.
As somehow you go into a spin on the ice. And the snowball flies past. You turn back around a full 360 as the final snowball comes at you. Straight roll.
All right, I'm gonna just take it in the face in order to take the 2 fistfuls of snow that I had when I had stepped back, and then just try to jump at the kids and throw snowballs at them.
Okay. What was that, Tony? I'm sorry.
Never mind. I don't actually have inspiration anymore.
Okay. The snowball hits you dead in the face. It's cold. There's no rock in this one, but it chills you and blinds you for a second. Make two snowball attacks.
Okay.
Straight
Can you roll
dexterity.
them for me? Is it a straight 0 or is it a plus anything for you?
It's +4
So
for the
I'll-
kids.
Oh man, that's true. All right, I'm just gonna do this.
Um,
Oh.
So your first one goes wide. The snow and the cold, you have to blink back, but as soon as your eyes clear, you throw and you hit the little boy right in the butt. As
And I kind of jump over and like start wrestling with them on the other side.
they
Stuck in the snow.
they giggle and laugh and they start wrestling back with you until their dad goes, all right, kids, I think we got some more contestants coming up. That was good. And as you come back,
Snowball fight later.
and the kids all agree and tell you where they want to meet you. They've got a whole behind the snow fort. They've got piles and piles of snowballs they've pre-made. Their father, when you make your way back across the little pond, he goes, that was nice of you. That was pretty fun. Here, have a token.
Oh, I thank you, mister. I appreciate it.
Yeah, enjoy the festival.
You too.
Mittens will give her token to Tosh. Here, I got this for you.
Oh, you didn't have to do that, but
It's yours. It's yours. You stormed the dragon's lair. Things may have turned out differently than we planned, but you stormed it. You did it. Congratulations.
snow in my ears.
You did. What next, though? Is Stickles okay? Where's Stickles? Stickles!
I'm like right next to you, like holding a drink.
Tickles,
Oh,
you get a short rest.
I brought you a drink because I didn't think you would keep your drinks in the cups when you got hit with the balls in the face.
I avoided all the face balling, but thanks for the drink. I was running out. I'll throw my empty cup in the crowd behind me and grab the new cup that has a drink in it. So where we going? I look to Saga, who's not had an event yet. What do you want to do, kid?
Well, I always want to do song fight.
I hear it's a drink thing.
Oh, even better.
Cool. I'm glad we agree.
Okay. You make your way back to the dwarven area. You find a section almost it's wooden flooring. It would be a stage if it was raised up, but it's just wooden slats nailed together, placed down on the ground to give people a place to walk that's not on the snow or in mud or anything. And when you arrive, the dwarf in charge says, it's just about to start, so if any of you want to participate, singers to that side, not singers to this side.
I don't sing, but I drink. Where do I sit?
That's the singers. And he'll explain the rules to you. Song fight is about attempting to woo a partner for the festival. The way it works is you take a drink and you sing a song.
Saga goes bright red.
The DC of your performance is based on your current drunkenness. And you go until there's only one winner. Until only one person beats their DC.
Definitely performing.
Okay. We will...
Because there were drinks involved. So.
And the drinks are complimentary if you're participating.
Do it.
All right. We will get to that when we come back from a 5-minute break.
Yay!
All right, I've
Alright,
got my
Brian,
song all
do we
picked out.
need- Yeah, do we need to sing ourselves? Because I don't know if I can sing in a quasi-terrible Swedish accent.
You do not have to actually sing.
Oh.
But if you do actually sing, you get advantage and a lowered DC.
Okay.
I'm singing in the guise of Bing Crosby. So.
All right.
I'm gonna win. This is my competition.
This is your competition. This
I've
is where
been
I'm gonna
training
shoot.
this.
For all of Tomb of Annihilation.
That is true.
Excellent. 5 minutes. Then we'll be back.
5 minutes. I'm so sad that John has been detained elsewhere.
Me too.
I miss
Yeah,
John.
did he say anything?
I don't know. Nothing in the general chat. Sadly. And I'm guessing he probably couldn't say anything to Brian, or he would have kept us updated.
I messaged him earlier today because I was curious what he would play, because I feel like if somebody does not ride me tonight, it's going to be a bad evening.
If that will make you feel better, I will write you.
Innuendo is getting a bit out of hand.
What are you talking about?
I want the 16-year-old to be the one that rides me.
Well, you're gonna have to negotiate that with her.
But I definitely intended to be a mount for somebody's festivities.
Innuendo, right there. Also, Just
I
reading
don't
that.
understand.
I'm pleased that I managed to catch a missile and make
That
the
was cool.
save. That was really
Yeah,
cool.
that was really clutch.
Just like, "Wah." I love monks. I loved rogues for a long time, but I think monks are my overall favorite class.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, Victoria was fantastic.
The Shadow Monk was amazing for Barovia, but even this drunk monk is pretty fun. Just monks in general are fun. All the fall and take no damage, end up walking on walls and ceilings and water and catching stuff that gets thrown at you. There's a lot that you can do. It's just fun. Just general fun.
I think Monk, Ranger, and Druid are the only 3 I haven't played yet.
Well, aren't you? Well, Druid, you're just doing Druid right now. Although one-shots are not exactly playing a class, I guess.
Yeah, because I played a Ranger in a one-shot too.
That's
I
true.
really love
You're-
that Ranger, the archetype, though. It's so fun.
Your teleporty ranger. That was a cool. Yeah, I think I've only ever played clerics in one-shots.
I tried to play a cleric in Trent's game, and it was just so miserable. I don't like the spells. Unless you're life cleric, I don't like healing. I thought it was the Order Cleric, which I really like the class ability. I thought if I went Order Cleric that it would make me like the class.
Yeah, because I looked at the clerics, and Order Cleric was at the top of the list. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it's incredible for what it is, but it wasn't enough. So what's actually funny is I've got Bulk Hathos very close to what he was in John's campaign. Because John in that campaign, Bulk Hathos had the Warlord archetype, so he made people attack on their turns and stuff like that. Gotten it pretty close to that, but I think it works better as a multi-class for me than a primary class.
Well, sometimes you can do some fun things with the multi-class too. But try Monk one of these days. You might like it.
I like Drunken Master on paper. I don't know if I would actually want to play it, but I'll consider it.
I like Drunken Master because it's almost like getting nimble, but without having to get the feet.
Mhm.
The feet is really cool though.
Like a monk with nimble is just wonderful. But yeah, there is a ton of other stuff that looks cool, just like falling prone and being able to get back up. It's later level, but like it's 5 feet of movement, I think, to get back up.
That's monks are pretty darn awesome.
I love monks.
It's a toss-up between monk and bard for the next campaign.
Oh no.
We lost Trent.
And bards, I actually think, are a ton of fun because like they're one of the only classes where I like every archetype to some degree. Like every archetype has a build that I think would be fun to play.
Mm-hmm.
Bards is the only class that one of the only classes that I've only played in one shots.
I like bards. I like my caster classes.
I like
I've been-
the glamour bard so much.
Yeah. He's
What's
fun.
the glamour bard?
They get a ton of like Fae themed bonuses to like their persuasions, and they can sort of glamour an audience or cast command as a bonus action infinitely for a little while. Like they just
They're crazy. Like Brian, your bard
Mhm.
after Brother Sorrow was in SKT. It was a glamour bard, wasn't it?
Yes, he was.
He was just crazy. He just ordered giants to kneel, and they would do it. We were all just like, "What the fuck?"
they
Mhm.
have their early level ability. They can just maneuver the entire battlefield, which
Mhm.
is super good because in 4th edition, that's a lot of what they did. In 4th edition, all the healers had like something special that made their heal unique, even though they were all basically deviant to the same word. So like imagine every healer has healing word, but every healing word does something different. Bards had one that when they were healed, they got to move like half their speed, and it's something that I wish had translated into 5th edition. I understand why it didn't, but I think it would be cool to have.
I also miss my divination wizard, just because being able to make a plan and knowing for sure that you could make it succeed is so much fun. It's so much fun. You just know, okay, well, I can do this, and I know for sure that if the dice doesn't go my way, I will just make it so. And that was amazing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Pretty awesome.
The enchantment wizard was so fun in 4th edition because you could literally just make enemies attack themselves or each other as a cantrip. Just, you know what, this is my turn. I would like for the enemy to hit the other enemy. And then you got bonuses to it, so you, like, if you succeeded, then the enemy would have a bonus to their attack and damage, so, like, they wouldn't miss very often. It was just super satisfying.
Welcome back.
I
You abandoned us. We noticed.
just for a short time.
Well, you have all signed up for Song Fight.
So hot.
There are various people who filter in and go to the opposite side of the little flooring area. And it's explained to you that, you know, these are the people you are attempting to woo as part of the competition. You can pick one, you can pick more than one, whatever's up to you. The way that this is going to work is round 1 is your DC is going to be 5 plus your drunkenness level. And I will explain to each of you what that is. Each round after that, the DC goes up by 2 for non-dwarves or town drunks.
Yeah, go town drunks.
There's also a dwarf and a human competing. The dwarf who you had battled at Punch Drunk earlier.
Oh yeah.
I give him the eye thing, just like, I see you. I'm the captain now.
So, we will go in order, just in the current initiative order. Mittens, you're handed a large tankard of liquor.
Amazing. Which part comes first? I forget. Is it the drinking or the singing, or both at the same time? Just
Drinking? Yeah, it is. You are drinking while you're singing. This is Dwarven Revelry.
I drink. Oh. I mean, my pre-drinking game is pretty intense. That's
So-
for the faint of heart.
Very, very drunk.
So there is no drinking save to make for this.
Oh.
Just each round, it assumes you are getting progressively drunker.
Lucky for me.
Yeah. So it's.
Ability to continue to
No
sing
matter
while
what
you're
happens,
drunk.
she wins this round.
But I have been counting drinks that everyone has been taking through the whole time. So your DC for your performance is 11.
Great. Mittens will go, this my shit. All the girls gonna be like this. You times been around that track, but it's not just gonna happen like that. Cause I ain't no all about girl. I ain't no all about girl. And she's gonna roll performance with a 12.
So you succeeded.
Probably not gonna make it.
Very
Oh.
charming.
I would like you to roll again, advantage for the singing, and your DC dropped by 4. So with that, it was 5 plus 6 was 11, so it dropped down to a 7.
I did it.
So you pass this round. Next up, Saga, if you're participating.
Yes. Okay, I take a calm sip and I try to be as adorable as possible as I get to singing.
Okay.
When I come home, yeah, I'm going to be the girl who's coming home to you. And when I'm dreaming, well, I know I'm going to dream about the time when I'm with you. But I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more just to be the girl who walked 1,000 miles to fall down at your door.
Ba-da-da-da. That
Everyone breaks into song.
that was awesome. So
Alright.
make a performance check. Your DC had been 9.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Ooh, thanks for the advantage.
You succeed.
I haven't thought about those twins in a long time.
Tosh.
All right. Tosh's gonna take his drink, and then he's gonna sing, "Oh, the weather outside is frightful, the meadows they're delightful, and since we've no place to go, since I paid a token, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow." And he's gonna down his drink.
Excellent. It's a performance check.
Oh, performance. Sorry. No, I'm done.
No.
I confused you.
Oh,
nice.
The crowd goes wild. People are cheering for you. The other performances had all gotten, enthusiastic applause, but now the crowd has just gone crazy. People are coming from other events over to watch the song fight.
It's a fan favorite. I was really cherry picking that one.
Ticklebelly.
Oh man. Not really the right voice for the highs.
I drink and then I perform, right?
Mhm,
I don't have to, no
Nope.
constitution.
Nope.
All right. I'll get up there. There's no mic. I just cradle my drink really close to my mouth. And I begin to sing. I say,
Am I blue? Am I blue? Ain't these tears in these eyes telling was a time when I was her only one, but now I'm the sad and lonely one. Am I blue?
Bravo.
Bravo.
It was
Make a
terrible. You guys don't have to clap.
Oh,
No, it was good. Make a performance check at advantage.
Let's see this performance.
The crowd continues to cheer as you hear the dwarf who organized this say, "The competition's much better this year than it has been before." And the dwarf who had battled you at Punch Drunk downs his drink, throws it to the ground, and leaves.
That's right. This my shit.
And as you're getting ready for another round of drinking and singing, you hear a loud crashing sound from up the hill near the temple. You hear screams and people running. You see several of the snowmen go charging up the hill.
Yeah, Saga's already charging after them. Or drink forgotten.
oh, we're already going.
Mittens will grab 2 drinks on the way out, but she will follow.
I'm assuming if everybody leaves before.
Yeah, as you're the last one standing there, the dwarf goes, here, and he tosses you a token.
Oh wow! And when I think the cat, I gotta go.
You all run after the snowmen. You get to the base of this hill where the temple is, and there are a few tents on the hill. It's sort of off to the side. The temple is being used mostly as a food preparation area, and food is cooked there and then brought down to the main fairgrounds. When you get to the base of the hill, Owen is giving the snowmen orders, and he sees all of you come up and he says, "We'll get the people to safety. You go see what's going on. I'll be there in just a moment."
You got it, snowing.
You go charging up the hill, coming up to the temple from the rear. Whatever commotion there is seems to be in front. I would like all of you. We are going to re-roll initiative in a minute. Not yet. I would like to know what order you're running up the hill.
Saga's going first, but Mittens might be faster than me.
Mittens has a good base speed, being both a wood elf and a monk. She runs 34 feet. 45, wow. 45 feet per round.
25. Even though I wasn't trying to, I'm pulling the rear.
Yeah, I mean, if it doesn't offend him, I will pick up the gnome, and I'm only a little bit faster, but the snow is probably getting pretty tall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. We are going to a map.
Bum, bum, ba, bum. I meticulously min-maxed every element of this character for this one moment.
All right. I would like you all to roll initiative.
Initiative. Let's do it.
What is that?
I did not heal over these events. I probably should have sat for one of them. But sitting is for people who are not drinking.
And
that is
people
not
who are
Mittens'
not
way.
drinking are not named Mittens J. Filibuster.
You got that right. Also, the J Filibuster, she's not sure about, or the Mittens, but you know, she's there doing her thing.
Okay. I also need each of you to make one last Constitution saving throw to see how inebriated you are as you go charging up this hill. God damn, Mittens.
Mittens is a professional drunk. yo.
I hang out with Mittens.
So, Ticklebelly and Mittens, you're fine. You will, for the battle, you will act as normal. Tosh and Saga, you are feeling quite inebriated. Every round, you will make a Constitution saving throw against your drunkenness level to see whether you're poisoned for that round or not. Poisoned giving you all kinds of disadvantage. All right. Mittens, as you come charging up the hill, you hear commotion from the other side of the temple.
I think I hear something over there. Do I know if there's a back door to this place?
There, I don't believe there is.
Okay. Well, if Mittens knows this, she would go around.
Mhm.
So.
Is this the temple, Brian? Is this the temple I go to?
No, this is a temple. It's really only used very occasionally. Make a history check.
All right.
With her regular movement, she can make it all the way there.
Okay.
There
I will describe what you see, but first, Tosh, roll again because you're a local and a cleric, so you would likely know more about the temple than normal.
Double my ability.
You know that 200 years ago, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, there was a wizard who had built this ice fortress in the nearby mountains. Pardon me. The Peaks of Morning are the name of the nearby mountains. And you know that he was known for being a cruel and unfeeling person. His name was Uten Phi Gelzir. But he was known to be doing experiments in the mountains. And a trio of heroes, human, dwarf, and halfling, ventured into the mountains to put a stop to him, as his experiments were causing the valley to be slowly frozen. You don't know a lot of the details of what happened, but you know that when they returned, the human just a moment. Yeah, the human, whose name was Milo Frostweaver, built the temple to honor the friendship that he had formed with the halfling Omi, Beastfriend, and the dwarf Nakat, Griphammer. And he named the temple after his two friends, Nakat Omi Temple.
Nakatomi, I see what you did there. Die Hard is a Christmas movie, motherfucker.
Mittens, as you come around the corner, you see a large hole in the ground in front of the temple. There is a creature, it seems to be made of stone and ice. Standing at the edge of the hole, it is pointing and calling out in this grinding voice, almost like stone grinding against stone. And you see these tiny little creatures made of black stone that seem to be going into the nearby outbuildings and into the temple.
Okay, so they're coming out of this hole into the locations.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. For now, Mittens will end her sway between this brightly lit tree and his tent. She's pretty brown herself, so she's hoping that she'll blend into the tent and just observe for now, anyways.
Okay.
and end her turn there. That's all she's gonna do.
Excellent. Next is Saga. Make a perception check, Mittens.
Oh, sure. A good friend always says, I'm an elf, so I'm very good at this. Thumbs up. I did it.
How
It's
often is that friend successful with the subsequent check?
it's hard to make out what the large creature is saying, just because his voice is so deep and it's so alien to you. It almost sounds like common, but you can't really figure out what the words are. Saga.
Saga will run around this corner and, feeling a little bit sick, she will lay hands upon herself. Just give herself a little, like, punch in the gut, like to burp.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Liquid birth.
I would like you to make a Constitution saving throw.
I was gonna lay on hands and remove the poison.
Oh, sure. You do. 5 points of lay on hands. And you heal 5 hit points. You are no longer drunk.
I don't think I get the hit points and expend the poison.
You do. It's Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Okay.
Merry Christmas.
Back up to full.
Happy birthday!
Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
All right. Tickle Belly. You currently have added 1 gnome to your inventory.
Yes, I am attached.
I will turn into a
Horse. I'm a horse.
war ostrich.
Caw.
You're a warrior.
I am a warrior trained,
Silver
a
bell.
man grown.
And carrying this creature, I will dash.
Okay.
I have
You have somebody riding you.
so much movement. Geez, I still have more movement. We're going in deep.
Wait!
These little stone creatures are
I don't know if I can be here.
So the little stone creatures, as you come around the corner, they are made of black stone, and they are only 4 or 5 inches high. They are swarming into the temple, into this outbuilding beside you. They don't seem to be headed towards the tents at the moment. And as you, because the map has no dynamic lighting or fog of war on it, as you come around the front of the temple, you would see them also in this storage area that's off to the side that's just sort of fenced off with wood.
Does it look like they're doing anything, or they're just moving around still?
So at the moment, because you haven't come all the way around, you can't see what's happening in the little pen. The rest of them just seem to be entering into the buildings.
all right. I will not take the dash action. I will take the doge action instead. That'll be my turn.
Okay. Tosh.
Alright, Tosh is gonna cast a little sacred flame.
Secret flame.
Okay, where at?
Let's see, is this guy in range? Let's see, that sacred flame is 60 feet, yes! Haha!
Okay.
Thanks for the ruler.
Yeah, welcome.
It's actually a saving throw, so not a spell attack. So what is your spell save DC?
My spell save DC is 13.
So you see a column of radiant flame descend and strike this creature. It cries out in pain, And you can clearly hear it when it yells. It says, "No, not must get help."
Oh, they're doing get help.
But that is anything else on your turn?
Oh man, did I? Are you a good snow creature? Should we not be attacking them? I'm questioning all my actions. Alright, that's it for Tosh.
Okay. The creature yells out and points at the boulder behind you,
Oh no.
which starts to crack and grind and form into a smaller version of the same creature.
Neat.
It then moves forward and will make an attack against the large bird, as that's the only thing it can really reach. It can't reach the little gnome,
You forgot to say the magic word.
which is...
Magic word is bird. Bird is the word.
That was worth the
Also,
payoff.
also, you took dodge, right?
I did.
Okay, so that's disadvantage, so it will roll again.
My AC is 11.
Mhm.
That's gonna hit.
Okay. Also on its turn, the little creatures move. These get to in there. Okay, and these get to there. The ones that exit, these also move up here. The ones that are exiting, are carrying in their tiny little hands. Each one is carrying pomelon, winter pomelon, the fruit, bright orange. Okay, that's its turn though. Mittens.
Mittens will turn both to this creature that appeared right there and these tiny things and just be like, shit. She's not sure where she needs to go. But considering that we're well covered on that front, she's just gonna pat her friend Tickles on the back. And she's like, yeah, you got this. I'm just gonna go and make sure that the melons are not missing. I'll be right back. And she's just gonna... It's just 25 feet.
Mhm.
She's just gonna run up 25 feet up here-ish. Adjacent. Jesus. This thing is difficult. She's over here-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And she's gonna punch and hit some tiny creatures, knocking off the pomelons out of their hands. I suppose they have hands.
Mhm.
I just lurch forward. I sway forward, and with my walking stick / quarterstaff, I'm gonna hit one. Oh, that's bad.
That is not going to hit. These are tiny little creatures, and when you swing at them, because they are so small, you are going to have disadvantage. But the 5 won't hit, so you don't need to roll again for this one.
Okay. Then I'm gonna use one key point in Flurry of Blows, so I'm gonna 8.
Okay. 8 does not hit.
I have disadvantage though, so
Okay, so that was an 8 for your first strike.
oh, okay. The second was this is better. I saved 1 melons.
Uh,
I-
As you punch this tiny little rock creature, completely destroying it,
My melon.
shattering it into tiny little pieces. When you pull back your fist, there's black marks on your fist from the stone of the creature. And one melon goes rolling across the ground.
Can I pick up the melon
Mhm.
and hold on to it? And
Yeah.
then I'm going to yeah, I get to move almost all the way back. I have 45 feet default, but because I use flurry of blows, I both disengage and gain another 10 feet. So I'm just gonna bring the melon and stand right next to this guy and just be like, okay, I got a melon, you guys. I think it's all good. And
The-
I'm gonna end my turn.
The creature by the hole, when you take the melon, he yells, "For small."
You're small.
Saga, it is your turn.
Saga will move forward to this creature that is punching her war ostrich friend, and she will pull out her great sword. And though it looks like a very old, almost rusted sword, she will smash it down across this creature with bright white light. Right as she hits. Hey, hey! And she will smite.
Okay.
I forgot to put smite in, so divine smite.
Isn't it loaded automatically though?
It does load it automatically. Neat.
There you go.
Okay.
21 points of damage.
Nice.
Yep. As you smite this creature, chunks of stone go flying. It does not say anything. Okay. Anything else?
Still alive? Okay, that would be my turn then.
Okay.
Level 3.
Level 3.
It is Ticklebelly's turn.
I am a warrior.
You are
I
a
will-
warrior.
I will claw this man twice. I am a bad warrior.
You claw at it, but it is made of stone, and your claws cannot do any damage to it. You aren't able to chip any of it away.
Curses.
Oh,
I got. That's my turn.
Okay. Tosh, you are still on top of the ostrich.
Yes. I am going to hop off the ostrich, kind
Mhm.
of jump over here, and then I'm going to cast Sacred Flame again this time around.
Okay. On which one?
I'm gonna cast it on this one that we're just triple teaming.
Okay. It will make a dexterity save. And succeed, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay. So your flame comes down and strikes, but does no damage to the creature. This one seemingly... it doesn't speak. It doesn't seem to move with the same intent as the other one. On the creature's turn, this one near you will make an attack. 1 is Saga, 2 is the War Ostrich, 3 is Mittens.
Bring it!
As it takes one of its large rocky arms and strikes back at you,
Doesn't hit.
striking into your armor, but you are braced and it does not do any damage to you. The other creatures, the little rock creatures, these will make it to the hole. Yep. And they descend down into this hole.
So many melons I could not save.
These do their thing. These do their thing. These begin moving back.
Oh no.
There's so many.
All right. And the large creature has seemingly begun to ignore all of you and is still directing the little creatures. Mittens.
Okay. I'm gonna keep protecting the melon that I do have. I'm gonna punch this guy because he's right there, and I think that punching him is the best thing that I can do. I want to put this into roll 2 though, just because I did not do it beforehand, and I feel like it might just be better. Okay, I did it. I'm gonna punch him, and by punch him, I mean hit him with my stick. This is 15 hit.
A 15 does not hit. As you strike into him and your stick reverberates in your hand, the creature, though, takes no damage from the blow.
Son of a bitch. With my bonus action, I'm gonna punch him, because if the stick doesn't do it, then my fist will surely do it.
It does.
20.
You strike, knocking off large chunks of stone from the creature. It whirls around to face you now.
Hi. I have a melon. Look at this.
It doesn't seem to react. Saga.
That's gonna be my turn.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I assumed you were done.
I could have moved, but I feel like there are too many of these tiny rock creatures to stop them, and I don't want to take this one on by myself, so yeah, I'm just gonna hang out.
Okay.
Saga will rinse and repeat. She won't probably take a fun though quite yet, as this thing's close to dead.
16 is the magic number to hit.
Man, I rolled.
And you slash into it. It is still moving with the same vigor that it has had. It doesn't. I mean, it's definitely you have all chipped away at its mass, but it is still quite active. If it had blood, it would not yet be bloodied.
Dang. Alright. Sounds good.
Okay. It is Ticklebelly's turn.
Oh, wait, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I have an idea. That's something I need to do. Let's see. Fastest way to get there would be that way. Alright, I'm gonna move away from it. I'm gonna move over here.
Okay. It
I'm
will.
not gonna get to it in time. Dang it.
It will make an attack of opportunity at you.
Alright. Ow. That hurt.
As you move away, even though it is turned to face Mittens, it almost instinctively backhands you, hits you as you run.
Alright.
Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. Now it's Ticklebelly's turn.
All right. I will move forward, seeing that the elemental is vulnerable,
Mm-hmm.
and I will use a bonus action. I lost my token.
I moved it to the GM layer. Are you switching back?
I am. I'm going to switch back into a person as a bonus action. And I want to be standing in front of the doorway. I don't know if I can block it, but I say,
You're really gonna have to pay for those, but I'm also going to cast a spell as an action.
Mm-hmm.
I will cast Entangle.
Hand over the melons.
And, God, I wish I could get in front of this door here, too. You know what? If I don't get that last one,
Mm-hmm.
I can get in front of the door.
Yeah, that's
Cool.
better.
Can you roll Entangle for me?
Yeah, sorry. I was just lining up my square. It was very important to me that my square be appropriately lined.
Mm-hmm.
There's no save there. Give me 1 second.
Nope, it's okay because they all fail.
Oh, there you go.
They have no strength.
They hit this patch of grasping vines, and it immediately stops all of them in their tracks. The large creature, though, says, "Oh, for small."
Does that mean anything to me?
You can make an history or an insight check.
Insight. Hey, I'm good at that one. I like that one. Oh, I'm real good.
You're real good at it. It doesn't seem, first off, that this is a very intelligent creature. But the way it's using the word, you think it's a name, not an adjective.
Okay.
Is small.
That'll be my turn.
Okay. Tosh.
All right. Tosh is gonna see an opportunity and run up behind the this creature.
You and me and the rock person, Tosh. Let's do it.
Let's cast a little inflict wounds here. You know, we just need to get this taken care of and taken care of quickly.
All right. So make a spell attack. You have advantage.
Is that an arcana?
Yeah, you can make an arc. No, it would be something with your wisdom since you're a cleric.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But there's there's a above your spells should be a spell casting
You said
spell
attack
attack.
+5?
Yeah, spell attack. That's it. Just click that. And do it again.
Nice.
Ooh.
Nice, sir.
So you do hit. You reach out and touch the creature, releasing this necrotic energy into it. Make a roll 3d10.
It's a construct. I don't know if that will.
Nice.
22 damage. So you reach out, you place your hand on it while it is turned facing Mittens, releasing this necrotic energy into it, and it explodes around you, crumbling back to just rock.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
I did that wrong. I meant to inflict wounds, not that.
Well, I think that's okay. Do you want a melon or something?
Well, I am feeling a little chilly.
What level did you cast that erosion at?
I cast it at 1. Look out, world.
Look out, world.
You're pretty deadly.
He's
You
slowly
don't look
turning
it.
into Will Ferrell's Harry Carey.
All right. So on the creatures, did you have anything else you wanted to do?
No, I just need to think about my life choice.
Okay. On the creature's turn, these little ones in here, you see finish each one gathering up a fruit by you, Tickle Belly. And they go skittering out between your legs. They're so tiny, since you're just standing there, you don't end up actually blocking them. This one is going to move around the obstruction. The ones in here begin moving back. All right. And the ones that are caught start throwing the little melons, trying to get them in the hole. And that will be strength checks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see how far they were from the hole. None of them reached the hole. 4 little melons plunk onto the ground in the middle of the obstruction.
When you try your best, but you don't succeed.
There were 5. Sorry. Yeah, 5 little melons. The creature is going to move. He has, so much movement. He is going to move the extent of his movement and get to there.
Oh, that's very nice of him. Move closer to where Mittens can get to him.
And that's his turn. Mittens.
Okay, alright. Mittens will, roll her melon onto the ground to Tosh. Hold on to this melon. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go and get you another one. Then she's gonna run. She's gonna hit one of these tiny rock creatures with her staff to try and gather another melon with it. Just whack.
Yeah, you hit and shatter one of these. And
Cool.
can reach down and grab the melon.
As she runs, she reaches down and grabs the melon, but she's gonna run all the way to this creature here. And with her bonus action, she's gonna flurry of blows. She's gonna hit him once. I don't know if an 11 hits. She's gonna hit it twice. 18 probably will.
The 11 misses, the 18 hits as you strike into the creature. Now that you were this close to the creature, you see that while the one it had animated was just made of stone, this one has some kind of crystal embedded in its chest, and it radiates a cold around it.
Shiny. As I landed the second punch, though, I dropped my melon and it rolled somewhere over there, so I'm just gonna scramble on the ground to go and pick it back up and just, definitely get all the way here.
Okay.
And because I'm drunk, I take no opportunity attacks.
Correct, but you do take 5 cold damage just from striking the cold stone of the creature. And
That's not very nice.
it took 6 damage from you. Okay.
She's right. It is a little rude.
What? Your passive perception, Mittens, is 14. Okay. You did notice that even though the creature itself was cold, it was like standing near a campfire on a winter night. You felt some heat radiating from the hole. And the cold.
hole is warm, the creature is cold.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
All right. It is Saga's turn.
Saga's gonna move over here, and she is going to pause for a moment and whisper a prayer and cast Bless on myself, on the monk, Mittens, and on Bahir Ticklebelly. Bearhild Ticklebelly. And then
Excellent.
she is going to issue her champion's challenge. She goes, I am the next queen. Do not run from me. Except for with her accent, I guess. I need everybody within 30 feet to make a wisdom saving throw, or they cannot move more than 30 feet away from me.
Okay. Everyone of your choice. Are you asking everyone to?
Everyone besides my allies.
Okay. And who else did you bless? I'm sorry.
Myself, Ticklebelly, and Mittens.
Gotcha.
Bearhild.
Okay. All right. They can't move more than 30 feet away from you. All right. Make a perception check for me, too.
Okay.
And he will make a wisdom save.
Yeah, DC is only 12, so not that difficult.
Okay. All right. As you're standing at the edge of this hole, you do feel some warmth coming up out of it, almost as if there might be a fire down in the hole. But you don't see the source of it. The hole is about 20 or 30 feet deep.
Okay, well, that's my turn.
Okay. It is Ticklebelly's turn.
All right. Not super fast, I will come over here and can I pluck a fruit from a creature?
Make a strength or a dexterity check. And it will do likewise.
Strength. Same score.
It's pretty strong.
I like to. It's still holding on to the fruit, so I just pick it up and just shake it off.
Okay. You do. It drops to the ground, and the large creature says, "For small."
I ask it who is.
Hey, maybe we can help, but you gotta tell us who Small is.
And I'll just put the fruit in my bag. How hurt does Saga look?
Okay, so first, make a persuasion check. Second, Saga is pretty hurt.
Hey. I am actually proficient, and I have a decent mod in this because I chose not to have any dexterity.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. I got the dexterity, buddy. You're good. You're good.
I will drop a healing spirit on Saga. Oh wait, no, I can't do that because it's concentration. Nope, you just have to die, Saga.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry. You got a cleric in the party.
Don't worry, I'll live forever.
I will, just to make sure that they don't get booped and go down, I will heal the word them. That'll be my turn.
Okay. So that's for Saga?
Yeah.
Okay. Saga, you take in a breath of the cold air, and you feel some of the warmth from the hole come up, and you are reinvigorated for 5 hit points. It is Tasha's turn.
All right. Tosh is gonna run third. Let's see. I only get like
25.
Oh, crap.
Tiny
Yeah.
gnome legs. Yeah.
Okay. Man, I really should have done healing word instead of healing touch. But that neither here nor there. Take that, little guy. Sacred flame.
It explodes. And you expect your sacred flame to do a certain amount of damage. When the flame comes down and strikes this little creature, it bursts into flame, killing it and 2 of the other near it.
Oh,
Damn.
well, that's
And you smell a burning like coal.
they're flammable. I want to say.
Okay. On its turn, looking at you destroying its little compatriots, it says, but that was a good persuasion roll. It says, must help small, not let you stop. When it says small, though, it almost gestures to the hole. But then it moves forward.
Hi. You're kind of getting up in my space, though, buddy.
And it's going to make a slam at the druid.
Oh no, it knows it can't miss. It's figured out my weakness.
Technically, it did miss.
It misses, but it lost its AC.
It strikes out at you, seeming to hesitate at the last moment.
I like that it can't miss, but did miss. Out of a technicality.
In addition, these little ones from inside the temple make it to the entanglement and stop. However, yes?
No, it's just the lyrics of the song. It's
Oh.
You can get it. I'm sorry.
Then they will throw their fruits. There are 4. 1, 2,
Minus
3,
It
4.
throws it, but it rolls back downhill.
Are they close enough to get any in? No. A couple land right beside Saga, but don't make it into the hole. That is your turn. They can't move. They're stuck. Oh, this little one. I forgot there's one that is not stuck. It will move and jump down the hole.
Son of a bitch.
It can move more than 30 feet away from me?
It jumped down the hole.
So
It is
that would be
falling.
more than 30 feet. So it's a mental thing. So would it be able to willingly decide to jump and then move which would move more than 30 feet away?
So, excellent question. These are not creatures with minds.
Oh. Okay. You win this time, Brian.
You win with your constructs.
Well, it's not that they're constructs per se. It's that they have 0 intelligence, 0 wisdom, 0 charisma.
Minus 3 strength.
They're little tiny rocks.
With ands.
You'll notice they didn't make any saving throws at all for the mental effect.
I just assumed that there's no chance of them saving.
Technically. But it is Mitten's turn.
Mittens will sway around. She knows how this works. You know, you punch them in the back when they're not looking. She still has a melon on one hand, though. So she's gonna swing with her stick.
20 will
Plus
hit.
4? Oh, that works.
And she's trying to recuperate her balance from that big swing with her stick. She's just gonna hand up absent-mindedly punching. Yeah. 4 and 3, 7. I'm not doing great, you guys. Not gonna lie. This cold damage is not feeling good.
Maybe we could talk to them. I'm not sold that they're completely evil.
Ow, ow, ow. Why he's so gold?
I wonder if you say that just after you detonate a couple of them.
I'm not saying they're not. I'm just saying maybe. Also,
Saga.
things exploding are fun.
Saga, it's your turn. Next to you are several of these little rock creatures trying to, in vain, pull themselves out of the entanglement. There's the hole in front of you and the large creature in between two of your friends.
Yeah, seeing that they don't seem to be reacting to her challenge at all, she's gonna go over to the rock creature and go and look at the frost burns now covering Min's hands. She goes, maybe you should take care of the little ones. As she brings down her great sword. She's gonna try to bring down her great sword. Oh.
And just scrape across the back of this creature. Twice.
I
4.
didn't mean to-
That extra 4.
A 12. Does that hit?
It does not.
Oh, okay.
You just scrape some of the frost from the back of the creature.
It's okay, good buddy. A 12 would have hit me.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
Tickle Belly.
I want to reach out my hand and gently place it on this creature, and as lower my ears and look at it mournfully and say,
Hey, guy. I'll help small. I'll do it. You just gotta stop taking these fruits here, and you gotta stop letting your little guys dive bomb into the hole. And we'll help right now.
Make a persuasion check.
forgot how the alphabet works.
Nice. The creature looks at you and the beating it's been taking and says, "Fruit help small. Small in whole."
Well, we'll gather up all the fruit and we'll jump down there. We'll take a look at small. And if you really need the fruit, we'll give it. But we gotta investigate first.
All of the little creatures that you can see cease movement, almost as if they've stopped being animated at all. And just sort of crumple to the ground as piles of black rock. The creature looks at you and it points at the hole and says, "Small in whole."
All right, everybody. Start gathering up the fruit and put them in your packs, and let's find a way down into the hole.
Sounds like a plan. I got a couple over here, but I'm just gonna run over. Oh, there's one. Oh,
Okay.
there's one. There's one.
The creature comes to the edge of the hole,
This
holds
is
out
thievery,
its-
Is it not? We're
Hold-
stealing from the town.
Well, let's investigate and see what's going on, and then we can decide what to do. All right?
the creature holds out its hand and you see stairs form at the edge of the hole, out of the rock.
I mean, you did make stairs. It would kind of be rude not to go down.
Also, Saga, this is currently evidence in an ongoing investigation to be used to figure out what this situation is.
Well, we are not the lawmakers in this town. I would say we turn over to the snowmen.
Snowmen are just people, Saga. Let's just see what
Maybe
the
we
Rock
should,
Man wants.
Yeah, let's follow the trek to the end of the road and see what's going on, and then we report to the lawman when we're informed.
Very well.
Also, does anybody have anything for all these frostbites? This is really painful.
Oh yeah.
Saying.
As we're going down the stairs, I'll put out that healing spirit,
And we can walk through it, and then I'll move it, and then we can walk through it, and then we'll move it, and then Brian will cry.
No, that's fine. You all end up healing back. The hole is only about 30 feet deep, and there's a little tunnel that leads off to the side, but just at the edge of the tunnel, so that it couldn't be seen from the surface of the ground, you see a small lizard-like creature that seems to be inside a cage made of fire.
Nidhogg!
And no, it's a tiny little creature, and one of these little stone things, the little black stone creatures that were stealing the fruit. You see it pass some of the fruit through the cage, and the little creature moves very weakly. The little lizard-like creature moves very weakly and takes a nibble, and you see along its scales almost a flicker of fire when it does, and the large rock creature with you says, "Fruit hope small."
So does it...
The
So does
little
it look like
creature looks like this.
Oh, small. It's so cute.
So he looks like a fire-themed lizard,
Mm-hmm.
and he's trapped in a fire cage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these fruits keep you warm in the cold?
Mm-hmm. The
Or
large
they
rock...
keep you hot if you bury them in the cold? Or they keep
No.
you cold if you bury them in the cold?
Correct. Burying them in the snow turns them blue and makes them chill you as opposed to warm you. The large rock creature goes over to the cage and sticks a little finger through and says, "Small, bumble here." And you see the little lizard creature sort of bump his head into the rock creature's hand. But when it does, you see the flames along its scales flicker out, and it pulls back almost as in pain. It had bumped heads affectionately, but it pulls back almost as in pain.
Ryan, what do we know about these type of creatures?
Yeah, and can I determine if it's becoming cold because it's sick, or is it becoming cold because it's touching its friend?
I would like nature or arcana checks.
I am not good at this.
From anyone?
Anyone.
Could an argument be made for a medicine? I'll roll nature.
I don't know jack about magic, but who knows? Holy shit!
I am the Avatar!
I know all the magics. It's a moment of drunk lucidness. I'm just like...
Yeah, you've heard people talk before about the history of the town. You know that the wizard, several hundred years ago, had been performing experiments. The wizard Yutun Vai Gelzir. And some of those experiments you remember now with drunken clarity were on animals. And you recall hearing a passing member of the symposium who was touring the area trying to find the lost tower of Yutun. And he rattled on and on and on, but he kept buying drinks, so it was good. He rattled on about how Yutun thought that infusing himself with one of the four cardinal elements, or maybe some combination of them, would grant him eternal life.
So,
Saga.
I will explain this to everyone drunkenly. So this is Yujin, but tiny. I'm sure of it. Trust me. This is all good. I know things.
Saga, it seems to be that this little lizard creature is a fire. It looks like a normal lizard that has changed. Somehow, it has been imbued with fire, and it seems that it is reacting poorly to the cold of its friend.
It is not in its proper nature. It needs to be somewhere else, preferably far away from town.
Maybe the solution here isn't to heat up the lizard. Maybe we heat up the friend. And then you could just give him like a big stone hug and keep him warm like a heating rock. No offense.
You are kind of cold.
Do you know how to do that?
With that arcana, Mittens, you remember that the member of the symposium, he wasn't a wizard, and he wasn't a sorcerer. He was something that he called a kineticist, and you just didn't care. But you know that he rattled on about these crystals that he had infused with prime elements, and talked about the long journey he had made to the first fire, to douse his crystal within it, and the long trek to the frozen wastes of the far north, so that he could find the dark water and sink his water crystal into, and so on. He just kept going on and on and on. But
yeah, that's wizards for you.
But remembering that, you think again about the large creature and how whenever you struck it, it was cold, and there was almost a little flare from the crystal that's embedded in its chest.
It's true. You, rock person, give me your crystal. It's important. I can save your tiny person friends.
Bumble.
I don't.
And he reaches up to the crystal and starts to pull at it, and you hear a sound, and after a few seconds, you understand that he's saying, "Oh."
but it's resonating, so it's like the meditation sound.
Yep. But he doesn't seem to be removing the crystal. He just seems to be hurting himself.
Oh.
I keep my hand extended. I am confused. He has not obeyed the instructions. Crystal is important. I'm not just asking for shits and giggles. Okay, this is like... I heard a wizard talk about it once. You're just gonna have to trust me, man. Give me a crystal.
Well, how did the wizard get the infusion into his crystal?
He went to the place of flames. I don't know. I just think that if we put it in the fire, it's gonna be okay. I'm not a wizard. Okay, I punch things. I'm like a fist wizard, but I think this will work. Just give me a crystal.
He digs deeper into his chest. You hear cracking of stone.
This is not a good idea.
This is
and
Suicide by town drunk.
yeah, you hear him just as he is digging into his own chest.
How about
Go ahead.
here's a thought. Maybe we can do it without taking the crystal out. Maybe we can
The
do it.
wizard told me it was super important. Give me the crystal.
How about we? It might kill him, and I'm not a scientist. I'm just a holy man, but I don't think I can bring him back.
Where did the wizard say he had gone to get the infusion?
Elemental flame of fire, the primal flame.
Like the,
Mm-hmm.
like so not close by, right?
Correct. And the story that eventually comes out from Mittens in bits and pieces and in the wrong order, you understand, that this is a particular kind of magic user who focuses on the elements. And so part of his training was that. This is not the old wizard who made these two creatures. You understand that the crystal is important, but you're not versed enough in that form of magic to take the trek to the primal planes.
All right. So if it's not in the next town,
We have to make do.
can I? Is there anybody that I think is versed in this type of magic that could infuse, or if the fruits are working, can I make a potion, a salve that'll soak into the crystal?
Well, how about this? I definitely knocked the crap out of one up there. Is there a crystal still up there from the second one that was?
He did not do any cold damage to you, and you remember that this creature sort of animated it out of nearby stone.
That's true.
So Ticklebelly, make a history check. Your acquaintance is mostly with the halflings, the people of the wind, and there's no one among them. They tend to focus more on druidic magic and nature magic. They have close ties with the land, not so much with the elements. So you aren't certain of anyone per se who could help. In addition, it's possible you could brew some kind of potion from the fruit, but it might take a while, and this little creature does not look like it has long to live.
Okay, maybe there's something else here. Does this? I can't quite remember. Did this place look like it was part of a location that he did his experiments?
No, it looks like a tunnel made by Bumble
Okay.
to bring Smole closer to the source of the fruit that was helping.
Oh.
Mittens keeps making gimme signs with her hands to Bumble. Just, crystal, give me a crystal. I can fix this. I know what I'm talking about. I met a wizard once.
At the at the festival, did we by any chance see something special happening at the Fire and Ice event that represented a source of immense heat?
So you do recall the Fire and Ice event was juggling, and it looked like they were beanbags that had been soaked in lamp oil, and they looked like specially sharpened icicles that people were juggling and attempting to juggle a certain number in order to earn a token. But you do recall that the person running the event would take the beanbags and hand them to the person, and then they would burst into flame. They weren't being lit like from a torch or a candle or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe we could ask the Fire and Ice guy if he knows of what to do here.
Does it look like we have enough time for it?
Well, we
It's
could
hard to
feed him-
tell.
We could feed him the fruit, and then it would buy us time.
Yeah, maybe give him one or two. I'll pay for him.
But we could also try the crystal.
And as you watch, Bumble has been digging into his chest, and it just seems to hurt too much for him to try and remove the crystal.
Yeah, I think that might kill Bumble. I don't.
Yeah, but it could save the lizard, and I think that Bumble's okay with that. Are you okay with that, Bumby?
Want
don't
hope small.
have to
Yeah.
commit to that option yet. We should look around a little longer.
Yeah, last case scenario, we do
Okay,
that.
that's fair. That's fair, I guess. I just want this to be done, but if we get back to the drinks, I think it's okay. I haven't drank anything in like a whole minute. This is not good.
So you head back up the stairs that Bumble had made in the wall of this pit. Make your way back down the hill from the temple to the fairgrounds and find most of the events have shut down. The Owen, seeing you return from down the hill, as he is heading up the hill, sees you and asks, "What happened? What's going on?"
Well,
Well,
Saga, my queen.
oh, please, don't call me that yet. Owen, there is a rock creature made of ice that has been trying to feed a fire creature that is a lizard in order to help it because it is dying.
It also may be a wizard, we don't know.
Either way, we wish to speak to the man with charge of fire and ice that does magic. He might know more about it.
He says, "Well, I gave him my crystals because he wasn't able to keep his torch lit."
Yeah,
And you-
crystals?
You notice that sort of under his cloak, he's got sewn into a stole 3 crystals, and there's an empty spot where there looks like there was another one at one time. One is white and 2 are red.
Mr. Owen, maybe you know.
I show me this, and he gets you to lead him back. Looking at all of you, he says, I studied briefly at the symposium, but it wasn't for me. I found my home in the Rhodesman, and this sort of thing is just it's beyond me. But we'll see if we can't get this crystal out.
He also met the wizard. I told you the wizard was real, you all.
And he reaches up gently to the large rock creature, and he puts his hand on the ice crystal, and you see ice form over his hand and up his arm. It doesn't seem to bother him, though, and his hand sort of melds into the crystal, and then he pulls it away from the large rock creature, and the crystal comes away too. But the rock creature looks still very cold. Looking at the stone, Owen says, I think this is not just a frost stone. It seems to be something more, maybe a controlled stone, a way to animate the creature.
Could be.
And he takes the firestone from his stole and just sort of rips, and you hear a ripping sound, and it had just been sort of sewn in, it looks like. And he looks up at the giant rock creature and he says, "May I?" And the creature nods, and he holds up his hand, and almost in the reverse of removing the ice crystal, he places this fire crystal in, and you see the rock creature. You feel the warmth waft off of it, and you see all the ice that was on it melt. And Owen looks at all of you and says, "My fire crystals are not nearly powerful enough to melt him, but they might keep him warm enough for his little friend." And you see the large rock creature bend down and reach out to the little tiny lizard, who lifts his head, bumps the rock creature, and doesn't pull away in pain. And the rock creature says, "Small, come." And he picks up the little creature, and it curls up in his hand and goes to sleep.
Oh, nothing. You did it.
We did it. It was all my idea. I'm the best.
I just like pat her on the shoulder.
Yes, it was.
Owen looks at all of you and he says, "Well, shall we... What am I to do with you?" And the large creature says, "I follow, bring small." And he leads you back to the festival. Owen does. The large creature just sort of trailing behind him, almost like a puppy dog. And you spend the rest of the day enjoying what's left of the festival. People gradually get back to work once Owen explains to them that the creature won't hurt them. There are fireworks, singing, and much drinking. Congratulations.
Yay, we did it!
Love this day.
We didn't kill
Glad
it.
we didn't kill it.
But let's talk about what's important this holiday season. Did we level?
Yes, you are all level 4 now with characters we will not be playing.
But you know, these characters will keep on having adventures. Does Mitten become the kingdom's drunk? Does she manage to get that level? Is Saga actually the queen?
I am prophesied to be the once and future queen.
We may find out someday.
Maybe. Well, that was a lot of fun.
I'm glad, and I want to wish you all a very, very Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
Merry
everyone.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas to everyone.